So there's about 4 students who have not yet received a grade on the diagnostic. And I'm going to give you an example of 2 students who did well on the diagnostic and got A's on it. So you can sort of compare your, whatever your grade is. They were low A's, the 2 that I'm going to show you. Let's take some attendance. And let's see if the Zoom people are around. Hey, Zoom people, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm guessing no. This is why Zoom sucks. Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. So I don't know if you heard my preamble, but I don't generally stand in front of a computer screen and just lecture. In the beginning of a class, the first week, there's a lot of things that need to be done that way. So you guys at home are just gonna have to sort of hang in there and do the best you can with following what's going on with the conversation that's gonna take place today in class. Okay, and I hope everybody is feeling okay and not sick. Okay, so let's take some attendance. And I'm probably gonna have to go back and forth. So let me know. I don't know if we can hear you, Zoomers, but Rihanna, are you here? Are you in Zoom?
I'm here.
Yeah, this is why Zoom is, yep, she sure is. Okay, Erica, you're here? Maggie. Josie, I think I saw Josie in Zoom.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Am I right? Yeah, okay. Josie. Hudson, are you here? He's on Zoom.
I'm here.
Hey, that would be really helpful if you guys told me who's on Zoom. Tegan is here. Hannah. Garrett. Jada. Jada's Zooming maybe. Okay. Marissa.
Yeah.
Radiance, Zoom. Radiance, are you Zoom? No. Are you here, Radiance? Nope. Geraldine.
Here.
Thank you, Geraldine, for being nice and loud. Sally.
Here.
Cameron.
Here.
Jaden.
Here.
Jarius. Kara. Jacob. Leah. Haley. Haley, yours is the last review I read. Lexi. Lexi, I haven't read yours. Tajiri. Tajiri, I haven't read yours yet. Reese. Haven't read yours. Jennifer. Has Jennifer ever been here? And Shanae is here. Okay, so pardon? I didn't attend, make you attend? Reese is here. Thank you. Thank you. Where's Reese? Sorry, Reese. Yeah, always just remind me if and that's another reason that Zoom is tricky, because it's like you're doing 2 things at once. So as much as we can avoid Zooming, let's try, but I understand there is a pandemic after all. Okay, so the grade breakdown so far is there are 4 to 5 A's for that diagnostic, 7 C's, which is actually, that makes me kind of happy, because guess what? Most things are average. I know that doesn't make you happy. There are 4 B's and 3 D's. So we're going to look at 2 of the A papers, and I tried to make them anonymous so you don't know, but sometimes due to formatting things beyond my control, you're going to see the name. I think I got it to where you're not seeing. So you guys can go to these as well. So it's at the bottom where it says review diagnostic and review diagnostic serial. So let's just start with this one. Oh, and I'm going to share the screen with the Zoom people so that you can see what's going on. So the first one, I liked it because it was a topic that I'm not familiar with. I don't know what this app and store is. So it's already good because I don't know what it is. Because, and we're going to talk about this later, originality is really important. So doing something that I don't know anything about, why is that going to, in the end, probably give you a better grade? You've educated me and the classmates about something. Now, a lot of you are not going to like this topic because it's a women's clothing store. And the student who did it, you have a bunch of comments that I've integrated, but you can't see it on the PDF. So it's about this, and it's this, she did a good job in her title. Is she in or out? Because it's about a clothing store called Shein. And then the student goes on to explain why it's popular, why they like it, what you can buy on it. And then they problematize it by saying, actually, so there's all these advantages, but then so it's cheap, but the student goes on to say, sometimes the clothing material is too. So like, it's not an advertisement for this shopping experience. And that's why we're talking about weasel words. Some of you are advertising the thing that you wrote about. That's not a review. A review talks about the good and the bad and the in-between. So, so this one was just a good little paper. The other one is a really banal topic. Do you know what banal means? Boring topic, but I liked it. So the next one's about cereal. Okay, so you actually can see the student's name on there. So I apologize for that, student. And what I'll do is, if you didn't, I'm just going to download it and see. So even though I'm downloading it, I was like, I put little comments. And so on Moodle, you should be looking at your own review. So this was a PDF, not on Moodle, but I put comments in Moodle, in little stickies, and I put them on the side where you can give feedback. So why do I like this topic, even though it's boring in a way? It's about Cheerios. It's not the strongest, but it's good. And then the student again goes on to explain that there are claims that the cereal is making about being good for you. And that is actually what the student can, and she admits, I'm very biased towards Cheerios since I eat them every morning and sometimes snack on it throughout the day. So the student admits their bias, which also warms me up. I'm like, they know that they have a unnatural relationship with Cheerios. No, it's not unnatural, but the student's into their Cheerios. So they know that there's a little bit of a problem. And the student, what I advise them to do ultimately is compare Cheerios to the equivalent of Cheerios. So what's a Cheerio equivalent? What do you guys think is about the same as Cheerios? Fruit Loops are not about the same as Cheerios. You know why? They're so sweet. And they turn your milk what color? So what's a better comparison? I didn't come up with a great one. I was like, I don't know, maybe Rice Krispies. Chex. Yes. Chex and Cheerios. Those would be equivalent. And Cheerios makes health claims that the student mentions. What are the health claims? Heart healthy food. So that is researchable. Are people, I don't know if they'll find the answer, but are people who eat Cheerios more heart healthy? More and more cereal is just considered bad for you. Do you know why? Starch. It's just empty calories. So Cheerios, which is not a particularly sweet cereal, is still a carbohydrate. It's just sugar because you break down the carbohydrates and it's sugar. So Americans eat more sugar than they have ever before, except those who are on like keto diets. And so cereal is now, according to some nutritionists, death in a box, just not good for you. So that's why I'm like, oh, this is a good topic. You can research that. And lots of you had good topics. Somebody did McDonald's. Is McDonald's person in here? So ultimately the students, so what I told, that one was another very good topic. Why is this restaurant that she got a combo meal at? It's more expensive than cooking food at home. It's not as healthy as cooking food at home. It doesn't even taste particularly good except the fries, everybody knows. So why, so the student is like giving this critique of the McDonald's versus cooking at home, but I don't tell that student, even though it was a very good diagnostic essay, do that, compare it to cooking at home. I tell the student something else. What do you think I say? If they're reviewing McDonald's, why is it kind of not comparable to home cooking? Because it's fast food and it's a restaurant. So what should that student compare McDonald's to? Another fast food restaurant. Now, you don't have to do that in your digital review, your podcast or your film of yourself talking about McDonald's, but you can start to think about in that recording of yourself, what is the best equivalent of McDonald's? But ultimately, my question for that student is, I think we all know fast food is bad for you, right? Does anybody here think fast food's great for you? No, we all know it's not good for you. I think we all know that it's inexpensive in terms of a restaurant because you don't have to tip. So like, it's not an expensive meal, but it's not cheap like eating at home. You can eat better at home than you can at McDonald's. So then the question is, why does it remain so popular? Stubbornly popular. So I'm gonna get the Google Doc going. You guys can think about this for a second. Why do we still all eat fast food when we know it's bad for you? It's convenient, and nothing can ever take that away from it. And how is it convenient? You don't gotta cook for yourself. You don't have to cook. You don't even have to get out of the car, people. And so why do people love fast food? You can eat it in the car. So who likes to eat in the car truly? Does anyone really like love eating in the car? Like, I just get up in the morning and I want to eat in the car. No, nobody likes eating in the car. So who are these people eating in the car? Busy people. So I've basically given away like what I think the student should be writing about, which is basically fast food is going to probably remain popular until there's a better alternative to give people a break. Stressed out people eating in their cars with kids at home that they're sick of cooking for. That is who's buying fast food. Subway is terrible. It pretends to be healthy, but that would be a good review. It is like a whole loaf of bread. And what did we just say about carbohydrates? And the bread isn't even that good. It's like, oh my God. Don't they all smell the same? Like you walk into a Subway and there's a weird, I eat at Subway occasionally. I'm not, you guys are gonna think I'm a big snob. Okay, so please come up here and write your email address in there. Like start here where you can start, but everybody needs to write their email address into that Google document. Okay. Your school email. Yep, it has to be your school email because it's part of the Google Suite. Okay, so I did point out is everybody looking at their, I know some of you, I didn't grade it yet. It'll be graded by tomorrow. But if you are not one of those people who I didn't grade yet, are you looking at your document and you're seeing where I put little notes? Because this happens all the time that a student says, oh, I didn't see where you wrote notes. And they're in the little stickies. Can I volunteer somebody to let me pull up their essay? You can pull up. I can pull up yours. Thank you. Okay. Oh, what's your name? Marissa. Okay, so let me stop the share here and gonna turn this off for a second so you don't see everybody's grade. Oh, it won't let me do that. Oh, wait, maybe I can do this though. I can freeze the screen. And what are we gonna do? It didn't freeze. What we're gonna do with the Google document is we are going to start talking about criteria by which to judge things. So I want you to be looking at your essay. Quite a few got the comment like, why are you advertising the thing that you're writing about? Don't advertise it. And I didn't find any egregious examples of someone who used a weasel word, but some people I said, your words are a little weaselly. Okay, everybody in this room, turn your chairs to face that wall because I'm going to pull up everybody's grades and I'm not allowed to share each other's grades. So everybody turn around. Turn around. I know it's just a little thing. Marissa is being nice and letting us look at her. No peeking. Marissa, where are you? There you are. All right. You can turn around. B is good. So this is, okay, so Marissa is, yeah, yours was good. B is good. There's been some kind of like terrible recalibration. Let me share with the Zoom people that like B is not a good grade anymore. A B is a good grade. I don't know what's happened that B all of a sudden is. So Marissa wrote about Subnautica, a game. Marissa never told me, however, that the game is a video game. So I didn't know. I mean, I did kind of know that it's a video game. And I think it's interesting that she says it's stressful. I mean, I figured it out that it's a video game and you guys play video games, but it might not have been a video game. I've had people not review video games. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying, I made a mistake. Board game, 2 words. So you need to click on all of those. Check means I liked it. You need to, if you're reviewing a product, which not everybody's doing, but you need to talk about, so this is just advice, like talk about how much it is, where it's available. You would also want to talk about in something like this, what year did the game come out? What is the company that makes the game? And everything is formatable. Subnautica is a title of a game. So you need to go here and find out how you format and I put this in a lot of your little notes. So this is a very useful site. It's in Moodle under documents and other useful stuff. And I'm going to go OWL formatting. So the OWL stands for Online Writing Lab. Formatting video game names. So the OWL is this university in Indiana that, oh, actually, I didn't click on the OWL. It went to a different university. Here we go. That gives us basically for free all the things we need to know about formatting. If you don't know it, then please get familiar with it. So I promise you in the OWL, it will, if I dig around long enough, it will tell me how to do a video game. And there's even a search function in the OWL. So I'm going to go to writing style, MLA. I said it's easy to use, but it's like gotten job search. No, I don't want a job. It's gotten trickier to use, I see. I'm going to try something else. Okay, I'm going to go video game title in OWL MLA. Boom. Okay, there. Other common sources. So a video game is something, an interview, and this is also in your book on the Moodle So everything needs to be formatted. Apparently, if you do a painting, The Family of Charles IV, it is italicized. A song or an album, they're going to be differently. So here, and music is the hardest thing to write about. Do you remember me saying that on like day one? Guess how many people I had write about music in this class? More than one. Music is really hard to write about. So name of the song, and if you do want to take on music, please review just a song. Just a song. That's hard enough. So that's the song, that's the name of the album. And so if I keep going down, there's how you can cite Spotify, films, movies, TV shows, Netflix, Hulu, entire series. Somebody's doing Breaking Bad. My big question to the Breaking Bad person is, why now? Oh my gosh, there is not video games. I'm gonna find it though later and share it with you. Yeah, because there is a way to cite everything and it is in the book. I just don't want to spend half an hour doing it now. Okay, so let's go back to this paper. So another thing that makes this a nice solid B, the student wrote quite a bit about the thing, and I do have a sense of it, of like what the game does, but I had questions and they were over here. So everyone make sure that you are looking over here in the comments where, what did I write? This was very good. Please fill audience in a bit more by comparing and contrasting to other video games and perhaps to reality. Have you guys heard of this game, Subnautica? No, right? And so but I bet you know a bunch of other video games. So do you know, Marissa, what it's comparable to?
Depending on if you want the genre or different kind of game comparable to.
So that would be good too. She said it depends on genre. So like, what are the other games in the genre? So you said genre, or what was the other one?
Probably if you just want something that's like the style that's compared to.
Yeah, I guess that like the aesthetic stylistically of this game. So that is part of the review. And the reason that reviewers and critics are considered like smart and qualified to review the thing that they're reviewing is because they know what has come before. And I know that you're 19, 20 years old, maybe 18 years old, and you don't know the history of the games or the serials that have come before. But that is part of the learning process and why you are writing reviews, so that you know that like, Cheerios did come out at a certain period. There was life before Cheerios. I think probably box cereal is at the end of its life. You guys except I'm wrong. Apparently, not your generation, but millennials who are a little bit older than you don't like to cook and wash dishes, and that even eating cereal is like a little bit messy because you have a bowl and milk and you will have to wash that out. Does that sound accurate to you, that in your generation, do you feel like you don't like to cook, clean? You might be even more like disinclined. So yeah, I read that somewhere that even cereal is like sort of a complicated thing compared with something that you just tear open the package and throw it all away. That's not the way like I grew up eating, but it's gotten more and more the way I eat. So so let's just go back to this video. The student needs to talk about these things like, how do you win the game, or how does the game end, and who puts out the game, and is it for adults, kids, gamers, fishermen? I have no idea. But all in all, it was a decent review. Okay, so I want to go on to talk a little bit about why you shouldn't use words that don't have any specific meaning, such as what? We all studied and read the weasel word essay. like it's like such and such, unless it really is in some way, shape, or form comparable to that thing. But yeah, like is a little bit weaselly. You might need it though. How about it's unique? What does unique mean?
There's nothing else like it.
Special. There's nothing else out there like it. Why does that not really probably apply to anything you're writing about?
Because it has to be relatable, comparable.
Well, it should be, yeah, that's true. If it's that unique, there's nothing to compare it to because it's the only one, because unique means that there's nothing else like it. So that becomes a problem. And if I say, like, nobody wrote this sentence, but Breaking Bad is a very unique television series. What does that mean?
But there's nothing else.
There's nothing else like it out there, which is just not true, because there are quite literally thousands of television series. And I bet we could find a knockoff of Breaking Bad. Everything has precursors. There are things that influence Breaking Bad. I'm sadly very addicted to television because it's good now. Like, Breaking Bad is an amazing show. It is not unique. Breaking Bad, some of the people that work on Breaking Bad worked on The Sopranos, which is a very well-regarded television show. And then what do I want to, and somebody else wrote about TV too. Well-regarded doesn't mean anything. I just used a sort of weasel. Well-regarded. What does that mean? Who would really determine, oh, I know, it wasn't TV. Somebody wrote about the Marvel Comics. Who determines what is a good movie or TV?
The person watching that.
Well, it's always going to be subjective, so that's true. And another thing that I wrote a lot in your papers is either this is a personal narrative, get rid of it, or keep your personal narrative, but you really can't just make this based off of your own take on it. So who does determine whether something in the fiction world of TV, film, what makes it good? There are huge awards every year. What are they called for TV? The Emmys. What are they called for film? The Oscars. There's also the Golden Globe. So the awards that the specialists out there give something will drive the point home. This was a really good movie. So the person who wrote about the Marvel universe, I felt mean because I was like, movie actors don't go into superhero roles because they're going to win a role. They're not going to win an award. Why do movie actors go into the Marvel movie enterprise? To make money, end of story. It's embarrassing to be the Hulk. Yep. I know. You guys are 18, 19 years old. You're barely out of the Hulk stage of your life. And that's why I felt mean. But yeah, no serious actor wants to go down forevermore as having been the Hulk. There was a film that won the Oscar that was a superhero movie. What was it? Within the last 5 years. There's just one that ever won the Oscar for Best Picture. No. It is Black Panther. Yeah. That won Best Picture. Why did it win Best Picture? It was amazingly beautiful. The actor was amazing. I mean, so Chadwick Boseman he's not embarrassed. Sadly, he's dead. But yeah, he was probably proud of that. But everybody else is just like, oh my God, yeah, don't bring up the time that I was Catwoman. Because they rarely win. What do you think that but you can still pick one film if Marvel is your jam, pick one film and critique it.
Is Lion King?
Lion King's Disney. it probably won. What do you guys guess? It probably did win some Oscars, but probably in certain categories. Lion King. Music. Hakuna Matata is still in my brain 20 years later. I'm guessing. You can Google it and tell me it didn't win anything.
So is it the same?
Oh, it's a circle of life. Yeah, that's another good one. So that's what you need to talk about. It doesn't really matter that you like it. It's nice if you're a great writer to give your like a subjective opinion on what you feel about serial, Marvel heroes. You can include that. You can use I, but you're not the person in the end that determines whether this thing is great, unless what? It is truly unique and you're the only person that's ever reviewed this thing. Nobody has that topic in here, although it has happened. And we're gonna go on to talk about that. This was so unique. Now, I have not taught, this was a 101. So the review essay I teach in 101 sometimes. However, I didn't in your class, right? Like I got away from the review in 101 because ultimately it's a little bit trickier, the review, because you need to do the research. You need to find out why Lion King, we remember that film as being good. But I don't even know, do you mean the original Lion King or the animated one that just came out where they're like,
I like that one too.
you like both?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna be so mad. I went and saw it in London, the Broadway Lion King. I was so bored, I left. I watched the beginning and it was beautiful. And then I was like, I know what happens.
Yeah.
I know what happens because that's why the Lion King is Hamlet. It's the playing Hamlet by Shakespeare. It just is. Yep, for real. And so that's another reason why movie reviewers, music reviewers, they know, I mean,
I heard about him.
Hamlet kills who? His evil uncle who got with his mama, who killed his dad. Does that sound like the Lion King? That's the plot of the Lion King. Okay, so the Zoom people are going to be sad. So this is very unique. Now remember that the student is not a 102, not a big 102 grown-up person like you. This is just a little 101. So we're going to be forgiving of some of the errors in the more. So what is the title of this?
More than the sex.
Already, don't you want to read it? More than a sex thing.
I see big chicken sandwiches and other.
So you don't want to read it?
Oh, it's about McDonald's.
It's not about just McDonald's. This was very original. It has stuck with me. It was 7 years ago that I got this essay. It is funny, it is entertaining, and it's a good review. Maybe not an A, but it is a good review. And so the people at home probably don't know what's going on.
So the good review, not an A. What's an A?
An A, and we're gonna, Erica already knows this. We're gonna talk about what an A is. In a second. This is the final product, but remember, everyone has it? Remember that this is a freshman. I know some of you are freshmen, and I know some of you didn't take 101. Okay, so you guys at home, unfortunately, you do not have a copy of this essay because they hand it out in person, and I did not have the time to scan it. So we're gonna read it out loud so that you guys at home can tune in. All right, so this essay is called More Than a Sex Thing, and I will read it. I walk into a small brick building with one thing on my mind, food. The second I walk through the doors, there is automatic chaos, which is nothing out of the ordinary. There are various conversations going on at one time, numerous buzzers going off simultaneously, televisions playing loudly all around the building, and workers moving around like chickens with their head cut off. So I didn't love the image chickens like their heads cut off, because really a chicken like it, I mean, it's like a flopping thing that's like a mess. So I don't see workers at McDonald's, like that image didn't work for me, but I think it's a good start to this paper. Being so used to this environment, I find it easy to brush off and ignore while I move to the back of the line to place my order. The line is always long and moves treacherously slowly. So treacherously means what? What does it mean when something's treacherous? Treacherous. No. Treacherous means dangerous. So I'm saying to the student, like, treacherous, what is dangerous about waiting in line at McDonald's? So it wasn't the right word, but again, I think this is a good essay. So I shift my weight back and forth in anticipation of getting closer and closer to the clerk. Just being in line makes my mouth water as I think about the meal that would soon be sitting in front of me. After waiting in line for about 5 minutes or so and watching people continuously come in and out of the building, I finally make it to the clerk, who no matter what McDonald's I would be at seem like they is okay, should rather be any place else. It's just an awkward sentence. I'm not picking on that they anymore. I did in 2013. I'm okay with they today. There's other issues with the sentence. Welcome to McDonald's. How may I take your order? I was asked in a rehearsed, nonchalant tone by the cashier. Yes, can I please have, and this is where the essay gets good. Can I please have a medium McGangbang combo with fruit punch as a drink? I always say in the exact same way. The clerk, who is usually female, usually nods her head. That's a lot of usuallys. Nods her head and taps away at the computer screen to place my order for me. She tells me my total, hands me my receipt and change. Every time I would look at the receipt, even though I already know what's on it, it would consist of a McDouble sandwich, 1 McChicken sandwich, a medium fries, and a medium drink. I always think that it is funny that I would order a specific sandwich that is not originally on the McDonald's menu, but the clerk knows exactly what I wanted. So I don't know if the McGangbangs is still a thing. Have you guys ever heard of it? Yep. I had never heard of it. And so why is it good to review something I've never heard of? I'm learning something, even if I'm never going to eat a McGangbang. Another 5 minutes pass by as I wait to receive my food. After waiting for what seems like an eternity, I finally receive my meal. I leave the building and cannot get home fast enough so that I can devour my meal without having strange eyes looking at me at my every chew because of the sandwich I was eating. I mean, he's a good writer. It's funny. It keeps me entertained all these years later. I get home, it's a little repetitive. I get home and it's a personal narrative too. It's not pure review, but I'm giving this kid a break. I get home, place my food on the table, sit down, and I begin to make the concoction known as the McGangbang. I unwrap my McDouble and my McChicken, split my McDouble in half by separating the 2 meat patties horizontally, place the entire McChicken sandwich in the middle to create a big super burger. I ogle my creative manipulation. And ogle is a great word because it's a sexual thing, right? To ogle, do you know that word? Ogle means to look at something with sexual desire or, you know. So he ogles my creative manipulation of the original McDonald's menu, and my mouth waters once again. I stretch my jaw as wide as I bite into the juicy burger. And this is a home run that has more buns than Nicki Minaj. I mean, the student can write. It's funny. The combination of meat, chicken, cheese, and bread is almost too much for my watery mouth to handle as I chew. Although it's not an official McDonald's burger, the McGangbang is a very delicious and tasty sandwich. It sounds nauseating to me, but he likes it. According to urbandictionary.com, so these guys, these 101s, they had to use 2 outside sources. He used Urban Dictionary, that's an outside source. According to urbandictionary.com, the McGangbang originated from Daytona Beach McDonald's restaurants, but their version was slightly different, having a McChicken placed in between 2 McDoubles. People who are passionate about health would consider the McGangbang to be a monstrosity. And then this is a mistake. No one should ever try it. He should write, people who are concerned with their health might not like it. Do you see what I'm pointing out there?
Yeah.
They think it is fattening. has a very large number of calories. I changed his amount to numbers. That's a small thing. And is also all around unhealthy. Those things are true. However, the mixture of different tastes and textures of a McGangbang make it well worth trying. They tend to find that most McDonald's menu items are unhealthy. So when he writes they, I'm like, who are they? It's very vague. He should have found an online review and said, specifically, this person says this. So they think this and they think that is not great. He could use something like healthy-minded people find the McDonald's menu items are unhealthy, which is also true, and to twist the menu around to create an even unhealthier sandwich is just wrong. According to eatmedaily.com, spokesperson for McDonald's, Danya Proud, has this to say when addressed about the new sandwiches being made by customers. And notice he has 3 different spelling of McDonald's right there. He has 2 different spellings, so that's not great. But do I say that this is not a good essay because he can't spell McDonald's, which is legit a little confusing? Do you put the apostrophe or not? I think you do. McDonald's loves to hear from our valued guests, especially when they customize and create meal combinations to fit their personal taste preferences, no matter how unique. Whether it's requesting an Egg McMuffin without cheese or a Big Mac with extra secret sauce, McDonald's is proud to satisfy our customers' request and provide them with a variety of great tasting meals every time they visit our restaurants. I agree with Dana when she says that people should be allowed to customize and create a meal combination that fits their personal tastes. Whatever the person should be, what they receive. Whatever the person wants should be what they receive, no matter how weird or unhealthy it may be. The McGangbang is becoming so popular that there are alterations to this burger, such as the McOrgy, which adds 6 McNuggets, the original McGangbang, the Whop Gangbang, which is the Burger King version of the McGangbang. So he's talking about all these different, it's good. Who knew? The McRape. I know it's not funny to, here we are in 2021. I'm like, maybe this isn't appropriate. Maybe. The McRape, which is placing a McDouble in between 2 McChicken sandwiches. I guess it's because of the pleasure you're supposed to get when you eat the sandwich, which rape is never pleasurable. So it's, there's some issues. Says Sierra McKinley when asked what she thought about the sexual nature of naming of the off-the-menu sandwiches that McDonald's has. I think it's called the McGangbang because there's a hot chick in the middle of 2 meats, stated Devonte Jackson when asked about the naming of the McGangbang. Although people may consider the McGangbang to be horrible, unhealthy, or a heart attack in the wrap, that does not change the fact that the sandwich is delicious. The McGangbang is a cheap and tasty burger that I like to eat. It fills me up and helps me keep money in my pocket, says college freshman Tyra DeVere. With its growing popularity, it may just be a short amount of time before McDonald's actually decides to make it one of their official signature sandwiches. All right, so where do I get the notion that this is a good, we're out of time, it's so fast. So on Wednesday, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the grading, how I decide whether something is good or great or mediocre. And I look over here in documents and important stuff, and I look at the grading interpretations. This paper really is good. Do you think it's not original? I think it's original. It's insightful. I mean, it's a little offensive, I think, because the names McGangbang and the Grape are a little bit. What do you guys think? Is anybody upset by it? I mean, it's okay. I find it a little, I think it's interesting. It brings, this paper makes you think about things. What would you give it? Everything except for C.
I think it's a A+.
It's really not a first note, it's a piece of writing, and you're not judging.
You don't think it's a C?
No. I think it's a B.
How many words is that?
You were just like,
That was a fine.
No, because the freshman version only has to be 1,000 words.
That's only 1,000 words. Oh, Lord.
So it's a B, no?
I gave it a B. We'll talk about it more. And on Wednesday, we're gonna work on this Google Doc. Did everybody put their name in there? And so we're gonna work on establishing appropriate criteria for the thing that you're reviewing, okay? Between now and Wednesday, I will send you a video that I want you to watch. That is a review. And I will see you on Wednesday. And please put the McGangbang over here and we'll talk more about grades.
Okay, so I have multiple questions.
Yes.
So whenever I read the prompt, it wasn't clear on what I was supposed to write about. And then
What was it on your paper?
Red Bull. Mine was
The what?
Red Bull.
Oh, Red Bull.
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
that was good paper.
And can you give me an explanation on why it was 79? Just to help me like understand what to do for.
I mean, let's look at it together.